Today, we will continue our learning for Microsoft Access. We have a query with fields like name, department, hiring date, and salary. Today, we'll explain the expression builder in queries. It's a tool to assist in forming equations and arithmetic operations. This saves time compared to manual entry. On the left, we see expression elements. In the middle, expression categories. On the right, values for these expressions. For example, by clicking on the current query like this. In the middle, it shows the fields in this query. Clicking on any field displays its values on the right. Clicking here shows the functions. Here are the functions available in Microsoft Access. And the database name if there are created functions. Clicking on the database shows its components. For example, clicking on tables displays the tables present. Clicking on any table displays its fields. Clicking on queries shows the existing queries. Clicking on one shows the fields of that query. Clicking on forms displays the loaded forms and all forms. Loaded forms show currently open forms. Clicking on reports displays loaded reports and all reports. Loaded reports show currently open reports. Clicking on constants shows these values. Clicking on operators shows them like this. They are divided into categories based on use. Clicking here shows common expressions. For example, clicking on current date, then OK. Running it displays the current date. A default title is written for the field, which can be changed. For example, changing it to the title, then OK, then run. The field will be displayed with the entered title. Clicking on current date and time. Then clicking on now to display the current time. By clicking on it, removing the default text, then OK. Then run, it will display the current time and date. Clicking here at the salary field, then on expression builder. Then clicking on operators, then less than. Writing, for example, 2,800, then OK. Then run, it will display salaries less than 2,800. For example, to display 20% of the salary. Click on the query name, then the salary field. Then the multiplication sign, then 20%, then OK. Then run, it will display 20% of the salary. The plus sign and ampersand can be used to concatenate texts. For example, select the department name, then ampersand, then employee name. Then run, it will concatenate the employee name and department name. If the plus sign is used instead of the ampersand, the same previous result will be displayed. This is because it is used with texts, not numbers. Click here, then insert a space between the quotation marks. Between the plus signs like this. Then run, it will display a space between the employee name and department. By writing greater than 2000, then N, then less than 6000 like this. Then run, it will display salaries between these two numbers. If written between, then 2000, then N, then 6000. It will display salaries that fall between these two numbers. In is used to specify certain numbers or values. For example, by selecting it, then opening a parenthesis, then writing numbers separated by commas. After finishing, click OK, then run. It will display only salaries that equal the entered numbers. You can choose one of the fields after writing in. For example, here, choosing the department code from the departments table. Then run, it will display employee data according to the department code. And those whose code matches the department code. Thus, values, queries, or fields can be used as conditions to display data. By clicking on operators, then choosing like. Then writing the name Hassan between quotation marks, then OK. Then run, it won't display data because there is no employee named Hassan only. Put an asterisk before the name Hassan, then OK, then run. It will display employees whose names end with the word Hassan. And if an asterisk is placed after the word Hassan, it will display employees whose names start with the word Hassan. And if an asterisk is placed before and after the word Hassan, it will display all names that contain the word Hassan. Here, if the N letter is removed to become only the word has, It will display names that contain the word has. Like is used to search for specific words or texts. By clicking on mod to get the remainder. For example, by selecting the salary field, then mod, then writing 2000. The remainder of salaries after dividing by 2000 will be displayed. By clicking on not, which means not. For example, if we write production department and then run, it will display employees only in the production department. But if we write not, then production department, it will display all departments except production department. And if we write 3000, then or, then 5000, it will display salaries that are either 3000 or 5000. And if two conditions are written between ECV, comparison between these two conditions will be made. It will return true if both conditions are met, and false if one of them is not met. Here we see -1, which means both conditions are met, and 0 for when one of them is not met. If the first condition is changed from 2000 to 6000, we will notice an increase in the display of 0 for the increased records that do not meet both conditions. If imp is replaced with ECV, true will be displayed if one of the conditions is met, not both. Here we notice all records have -1 for meeting one condition. If XOR is used instead of IMP, Here -1 will be displayed if one condition is met. It gives 0 if both conditions are met. So, it gives false if both conditions are met and true if one of them is met. We adjust the relation to show records without registered departments. Click on Constants, then choose Null. Is null will be written here. Records with no registered departments will be displayed. If is null is replaced with not null, records with departments only will be displayed. Here in the constants, there is true and false. To illustrate them, we add the married field. The marital status of each employee will be displayed, whether they are married or unmarried. For example, click on Constants, then choose False. All unmarried employees will be displayed. And if we click on Constants, then choose True, all married employees will be displayed. We'll stop here for today, and stay tuned for upcoming videos. If you like this video, click like, share and subscribe to get the new videos. And visit us at Fairs Solution. Thank you and have a nice day.